So, what is time? Uh, Saint Augustine in the 4th century, he put it beautifully. If somebody asks what time is it, we have an answer. But if someone asks what is time, then we don't know. But we have come a long way since Saint Augustine. He lived in 4th century. I think after that a significant contribution was made by Newton. But what Newton said was time is absolute. My 1 second here is the 1 second everywhere in the universe as well. Time is absolute. Okay? And that remained true till Einstein came. The first thing that Einstein did was to prove that Newton was wrong. Not wrong in his gravitational laws or his laws of motion, no, not in that sense. In the sense that nothing in the universe is absolute, not even space, not even time. Okay? Space and time are not absolute, but they are relative. They are dependent on the mass of the object. Depending on the mass of the object, the fabric of the space-time itself will bend. Not only space, but time itself will slow down and speed up, depending on the mass of the object. Till Einstein, what we used to think was space and time are different. But back in the mind, everybody knew that both we need the coordinates of both space and time. Let's say I'll tell you, okay, Vasuki, meet me at 12 o'clock tomorrow. You say like, okay, but where? Okay. Or I'll tell you, okay, meet me in Chikmagalur. At what time? When? So, even we are living in a 4-dimensional universe actually. 3 dimensions of space and 1 dimension of time. They are both together. Space and time are intertwined. Like this, they are intertwined. They cannot be like separated. That's why I always tell you, it's not about time travel. It's about, you have to go to the corresponding space as well. Let's say, at this moment we are sitting here. Okay. Yesterday also we were sitting here, same space. Forget about the earth is rotating, galaxy is there. In that sense, it's completely different space, right? In the larger context. But right now, let's say we'll talk about this space. 5 minutes ago, yesterday, 1 year ago, it was the same space. Okay? But time is changing continuously. Okay? Let's say, I want to go back 5 minutes back in time. Okay? If I want to go 5 minutes back in time, I have to go to the corresponding space as well, right? I need space also to go there. But we are already occupied this space. So if Gavin goes back 5 minutes ago, Gavin will be here, but I'll both be here only, right? Are you getting? You have to go to the corresponding space as well. But okay, see, there is no universal clock saying, okay, today it is 3rd October 2021, it is 21st century. This is our invention. The fundamentally, one thing is, see, time is the measure of the rate of the entropy decay. Fundamentally. If there entropy and time both go hand in hand. Entropy is a certain decay. Life itself is the execution of entropy. Everything is in the order of the universe is increasing by the day. So time is the measure of this entropy decay in a way. So whether time has a beginning, of course time has a beginning. If there is a beginning, there is an end as well. And time belongs to the realm of the physical dimension. There is no time in the non-physical dimension, in the nothingness. Consciousness doesn't belong to time. This body, mind, emotions, energies, all are physical in nature, even energies. This light, this bulb is physical. But electricity is also physical. Even the light is physical. In subtle ways, but still physical. Similarly, body is physical, mind is physical, energies, emotions are physical, subtle. Even energies are physical. That's why in the yogic systems, it is not considered as different things, as in the other things, physiology, psychology. We call everything as body. We call body also body. We call mental body. We call emotional body. We call energy body. We call intelligence body. we call bliss body. Beyond that, there is consciousness. Everything is physical. So when the universes began, see, within each universe there is time. Okay, and our best guess is the universe began, 13.88 billion years ago. That's our best guess. Maybe in another 200 years, we may have a better understanding. Of course, every generation thought, oh, this is absolute, this is the best thing we know. It is a certain prejudice. It always thinks that, like, we are today living in the modern world, right? Everything else is history. But in another 500 years, we are also part of history. Nothing special. So many things that we think right now are right, maybe proven wrong, maybe completely proven wrong. When Newton came up with things, oh my God, it was a revolutionary thing. Nobody questioned Newton because it was such a phenomenal understanding. When Einstein came, see, Einstein himself, he never, quantum mechanics, quantum theory doesn't make sense to him. Einstein is considered as the pinnacle of human intelligence. He changed the whole game of humanity. See, that's what happens with the human. So coming back to time. So time, there are two kinds. One thing is, the rate of entropy decay. That time is going on. Another we are measuring time in our clocks. That is for our utilitarian purposes. See, up until actually till Galileo, we did not have a clock as such. The ancient Egyptians, they were using, they were keeping a huge pot, and they used to open the tap, and it will take 1 hour to fill from that pot to this pot. We are using some rudimentary things. We were using sundial. Nobody was so much concerned. Hey, meet me at 4 o'clock. No. Okay, meet me in the evening. That was. So when Galileo, he saw the pendulum tick, he saw that regardless of how big the pendulum is, they always swing with the same time scales. He was sitting in the church and he was listening to the sermon. He was bored. So he started looking at the lamp which was blowing from the wind. So using his veins, he measured the time. So he said, with pendulum we can make an accurate clocks of that times. So that started. Then with industrial revolution, up until industrial revolution, nobody was so much concerned about time as such till the industrial revolution began. Till then, people used to pay you for the things you do. If you do 10 things, we'll pay you this much. After industrial revolution happened, we used to start paying you for the time. Right now, whole day, you take 1 week, it doesn't matter. If you give me 10 things, I'll give you for money for that 10 things. Right now, no, you have to do it within 5 hours. I'm paying you not for the things. You have to produce 10 things, but within 5 hours. I'm paying you for your time. That is when time became money. Since the industrial revolution, not before that. And the standardization for time was necessary when we came up with the railways. When we came up with the trains. Because one train is leaving, let's say one train is leaving from Chikmagalur to Mangalore. In Chikmagalur there was one time. In Chikmagalur, let's say it was 11:30. In Moodgere it was 11:45. In Mangalore it was like 12:30. There was no standardized clock. Right now our atomic clock, it is GPS synced. Literally all the phones, they show the same time if you have selected that automatic time. We humans have produced such precise atomic clocks which lose 1 second. Initially, I think the first atomic clocks were losing plus or minus 1 second for every 300 million years. I think in 2018 they made a clock which will lose plus or minus 1 second in 15 billion years. That is longer than the age of the universe, the current age of the universe. Lose plus or minus second in 15 billion years. That precise clocks. So one thing is there is time. The second thing is our measure of time. So time surely has a beginning and time definitely has an end. For a human being, it may seem that 13.88 billion years is such a humongous amount of time. But if we look at the larger universe, the universe is just beginning, just getting started. It's just in its infancy. It's just crawling. It's going to take humongous amount of time. It's like 10 to the power 1500 years or 10 to the power 10 to the power 10 to the power 72 years. It's like, oh my god, there is so much time for the universe to ultimately end, for the universe, for the entropy to hit 100 or 0, doesn't matter, whichever way. For the whole universe, the current temperature of the average temperature of the universe is 2.7 degree above absolute zero. The average temperature of the universe, that is roughly 3 degrees above absolute zero. But for it to attain to absolute zero, it will take 10 to the power 1500 years. This is our best guess. See, when the Big Bang happened, okay, hydrogen, they started fusing. Hydrogen fused with helium. Helium then became carbon, then became oxygen, then became silicon, then became. Once it hit iron, then the stars got explodes. Blah blah blah. They all relatively happened very. Look at how complicated. Ultimately, the body is just, but nothing but an atoms, right? Bunch of atoms. Everything is a bunch of atoms. For all it to combine, okay. For life to happen, it took 4.5 billion years to reach here. That is relatively very slow. But to disintegrate all the atoms, to strip bare to the fundamental quarks, it will take a lot of time. Lot of time. But still, time has an end. Each universe cannot be eternal, cannot be infinite. The existence on the whole is infinite, is eternal. But within them, each universe is. See, our universe began 13.889 billion years ago. That doesn't mean every universe is like that. Many universe may be, 10 to the power. Googleplex years. Some just began today. Just now one universe started. Their clock just started ticking now. So time, and depending on the explosion of the Big Bang, maybe the rate of entropy may be different. Maybe in other universes, time may be ticking at 3 seconds per second. Maybe 5 seconds per second, maybe half second per second, compared to our universe. That is to noting that here the clocks are ticking at 1 second per second. That is for our conventional understanding. So yeah, time clearly has a beginning, time has an end. Time is physical in nature. Only the things that are physical have time. The non-physical dimension, there is no time. Eternity is not a huge, big amount of time. Infinite, just like infinity. Infinity is not a number. Infinity is not the largest number there is. So eternity is like that. Eternity is timelessness. It's timelessness. See, regardless of how much time you have, time is always finite. Time cannot be infinite. Time cannot be infinite. Because time has a beginning. Time came into existence with the universe. And it will end with the universe. And regardless of billions, trillions, zillions of years, it's nowhere near eternity. Nowhere near.